For the record, we will all file bankruptcy and we will all go back to school. You're not getting a dime from us. What? I have 3 degrees. I'll go get another one. I'm a black woman. Black women are the most educated populace on this planet. We go to bed, wake up, and decide, okay, we're bored. Let's go get another degree. Are you kidding me? I will take 2 to 3 credits per semester, per year, until the next administration gets here and figures this all out. You're not getting a dime from me, Donald Trump. Because see, what you don't understand, while you are trying to crush the middle class and destroy the lower class, we're thinking 10 steps ahead of you. You've been wanting that degree, go get it now. If you've been wanting that 2nd or 3rd degree, go sign up now. Sign up part-time. Get those credits. Stay in school as long as you need to wait out this administration. May 5th, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. Trust me.
All right. So she is actually referring to an announcement that the Department of Education will resume collections on defaulted federal student loans beginning May 5th. So this was a long overdue fiscal responsibility or return to fiscal responsibility that President Trump did talk about during his campaign. Secretary Linda McMahon is taking a decisive step toward restoring this accountability in the nation's student loan system. So, Shelley, I know you have talked about this in the past. What are your thoughts on what she said and this idea of restoring, getting back to collecting these student loans?
It makes me angry that this wench, this bitch, is talking about purposefully defaulting, taking more credits or whatever to no end. I've said it once, I've said it again. I probably will be saying it until the cows come home. I paid them off 0 to my 2 school loans that I had within the last 3 to 5 years. I paid them both off. Paid one off 1 year, waited about 12, 18 months or so, and paid off the second one. Yes, I paid them off. What did that mean? That means I worked extra, okay? I saved a little bit here and there, extra, things like that, because I got tired, like Dave Ramsey says, of Sally Mae living in my house. I got tired of it. I wanted to put the witch out of my house. I'm sick of it. But for her, I have degrees. For her to come on here and say something like, or in social media or in public with 0 embarrassment. Okay?
No.
0 embarrassment. And you know what? She's talking about Black women as some of the most okay. Education can be measured in different ways. Enrollment, graduation, the number of degrees, but one of the most significant ways to measure it is what does that degree or those degrees translate to as far as the return on your investment. Well, this wench, I say this, if she's going to purposefully default, let's purposefully not give her any opportunity to make money so that she, whatever. I mean, why? Why should the American people pay her to work and then she's going to, basically, say in your face, I'm not going to pay back the debt that I have incurred.
Yeah. So, Nicole, since March 2020, collections on defaulted loans have been suspended under the guise of pandemic relief. Yet, even after pandemic conditions subsided, Biden-Harris administration continued its reckless on-ramp strategies and unconstitutional loan cancellation schemes, leaving taxpayers exposed to hundreds of billions of dollars in unpaid debt. But there are a lot of people out here like this woman who feel like you should not have to pay back this loan. What are your thoughts?
Well, of course you have to pay back a loan. If you take it out, you have to pay it back. And that's just fair, right? I remember taking out student loans when I was in college, and they explained to you in explicit detail. I think one of the loans actually had a picture of, graduating and then you walking to the bank and you writing a check, right? So they made it very simple for you to understand that this is not the United States government giving you a free education. It's not. So you should study something that's going to allow you or afford you the opportunity to pay these loans back. It's like buying a car. You take the car off the lot, you make one payment, you're like, you know what? I'm just keeping the car. Yeah, whatever, repo man is coming for you. Since we can't steal back the education that she's not using appropriately, what we can do is ensure that you can't discharge it in a bankruptcy, right? This is a federal debt. You're going to have to meet your maker. My strong suggestion to her is, yeah, if you want another degree, go ahead and take those 2 to 3 credits, take your time. But in the meantime, up the number of hours you work and pay back what you owe. It's only fair. This whole thing with the sense of entitlement from the quote unquote most educated part of our populace is disgusting. Tell me again how these degrees equal smart. They don't.
Yeah. Tyrone, what do you think of this whole idea of the student loan? The colleges kind of, they do encourage people to take out these loans. Some people, these college students, don't understand the loan process, perhaps. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that exchange?
Well, there's a difference between education and intelligence, and she proves that. Now, she said that she has multiple degrees, but apparently those degrees have not resulted in her having the financial wherewithal to comfortably repay her loans. And she's going to get another useless degree, probably in psychology or sociology. Black women love those degrees. And they don't understand that all it sets you up for is working for social services or HR. That's your high watermark, HR in somebody's company. So look, this is a prevailing attitude among many Americans. But if she'd like to risk her credit, put herself in a position where she can't purchase a home, maybe even get her wages garnished. Look, okay, fine. There's so many people that are going to be left behind. All right. She's one of them. With all of her degrees, she knows nothing. So, what?
Yeah, but see, and then you know what they do. So, like you mentioned, she defaults, or it goes on her credit that she has this outstanding loan, so it raises her loan to debt ratio, or her debt to how they put it, where she has too much debt out, or
her
more
debt
than
profile.
Her debt profile, which also lowers the credit, and then they blame racism. They say, my credit score is bad. It's racist. This is racism. This is the patriarchy. When it's stuff like this that's causing her credit score to lower. But to me, this is a sign of people that just don't have any shame. When it used to be, you would be embarrassed to have an outstanding loan that you owe and that you have to pay. Maybe you don't have the money right now, but you would be embarrassed. It used to be in a time where you would feel like, man, I need to make some type of payment arrangements, or you certainly wouldn't go on social media and going on here and just telling everybody how you're trying to circumvent the system. And Robert Woodson talks about this. He's actually talking about how welfare used to be embarrassing. Take a look at this clip.
Welfare used to be stigmatized in the Black community, but the federal government began to interpret it as reparations, as entitlements. So what the government did was offer welfare as an alternative to a man in the house. That was supported by the Black Power movement. Also, the women's movement was anti-man. We separated work from income, and as a consequence, millions flooded into the system at a time when the unemployment rate was under 4%. So it is a combination of social policies, plus the civil rights movement morphed into a race grievance industry, and we spent $22 trillion during that period on programs to aid the poor, where 70 cents of every dollar went not to the poor, but those who served the poor.
Okay.
One way to bring back shame is to bring back the food stamp. The independence card has given people a false impression. I remember when we were young, we were on food stamps for a minute. And one of my brothers would not spend a food. He would not do it. And for those that don't remember, the food stamps were like 1.5 times the size of a dollar. It was clearly not a dollar. Okay. And they had like weird people on it. Like,
came in the books.
Yeah, they came in the books. They didn't have like presidents. They had like Julio Cesar Chavez, weird people, right? And so it was obvious. It was like, we are trying to stigmatize you. Get off of this program and save yourself some embarrassment. And we did at one point, shortly thereafter. But bring back that food stamp, okay?
But Tyrone, it still wouldn't matter.
It would matter.
It wouldn't matter, right?
Yeah, because you see what he said. He brought up a very good point when he said that now these things are made to look like entitlements. Now he was talking about something else, but it is. People are made to feel like they are entitled to this assistance, to this money. Something is owed. Something is because of some type of past wrong, generation upon generation upon generation ago. And so now they're made to feel like they are owed this. And there is no shame. I have on my timeline on my Facebook page, people who will post on there who has EBT that they're getting rid of this week.
Wow.
I've seen it. There's no shame.
But this is your, I mean, to your point, KJ, that was the picture of the old food stamps. I just found that. That's But look, this is another part of this. The fact that the government, if you will, again, taxpayers, our government has taken our money and made these huge pots, if you will, of money available to go to school forever, to fund any and everybody else's cause at our expense. And then this woman, she represents many people, I mean, millions of people, but they're not on social media who have that mindset. Oh, number one, I can just go fill out this loan paper and get it, and it's not coming out of my pocket. It's the banks or the government's giving it to me, and I don't have to pay it back. Already she's planning this and taking 2 and 3 more credits or whatever a semester. There should be, number one, a limit. Okay, number one. Number two, I am for the whatever, all the different grants. Again, grants are just taxpayers' money. Give people, let them have their own money. Don't even have to worry about collecting it from the government. If you had your money, I had mine, and every other family, we could pay for it out of our pockets. We could pay for it, and then that way we would have more command, if you will, in the market to go to the schools and say, you know what, I have my own cash. I'm going to, if you want to call it command your rates, then we could do it that way. But there's no market competition because the government is funding it all.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And colleges are at fault too. By and large, college is a scam because in reality, there are only about 5, maybe 6 economically viable degree paths that would justify you taking out a loan to finance. Okay. When you take out a loan for something, you expect some sort of return for it. All right. Now, if you want to get into the fine points of basket weaving, you can go on the internet and learn all about it for free. But for colleges to be offering courses like degree paths in women's studies, African-American studies, that is not an economically viable degree path. It is not in demand at any corporation in America.
No.
Right. And if the whole point of education is to make you more attractive in an employment situation, having an advanced degree in choral music with a minor in theatrical scene setting does not help with $200,000 worth of debt when you get out and you become a barista at Starbucks. I mean, there's a certain point, I agree with Shelley, that yes, if you are an undergrad and you say, okay, my undergraduate degree is not going to get me to where I need to be, I want to go ahead and get a master's degree. Once you get beyond your master's, that's on your dime, right? At some point, you got to man up. At some point, you have to man up. And these people who are saying, I'm going to take 2 classes a semester for the rest of my life so I never have to pay back these loans, it's just unconscionable, because what's going to end up happening eventually, somebody who's far redder than Donald Trump is going to be elected president of this great nation, and there will be no more student loans. Your family is going to have to fund it if you want an education, as well it should be. The federal government should not be in the business of increasing the number of people who can conduct an orchestra when there are only maybe 25 of those jobs nationwide. We have got to do better. I'd rather see them funding plumbers. I'd rather see them funding welders, people who build things, make things. That's what we need. You know how much it costs for a plumber now? plumbers are outrageously expensive because, you know, there's a handful of
and
them.
there's much more use for them.
Right. And another thing about it with these plumbers is the cost has gone up, and you now no longer get to see a crack. At least before you were paying, and then they would give you a little show.
A little
You know,
something
but
on the
now
backside, a little whale tail.
these plumbers don't look the same anymore. No more fat guys, no more guys with the crack. They're coming in slim, they're coming in
Young.
clean. If I'm paying higher prices, I want to get my crack back.
Listen, I just want the toilet fixed. That's all I need.
I looked at the clock.
Makes no difference.
At 10:30, I thought we had escaped, but we didn't.
All right. So